Hello, and welcome to Anthony Wayne High School. Today we are going to review the registration process for 8th graders as they transition into ninth grade. We will also discuss what it takes to earn a diploma, as well as those classes that incoming ninth graders can take their freshman year. At the high school, we have a team of administrators that you or your son or daughter may interact with over the course of their time at Anthony Wayne High School. Dr. Kevin Thefferly is the building principal. Day-to-day issues may be addressed by one of our two assistant principals, Mrs. Stephanie Buckenmeyer and Mrs. Janelle Patek. The assistant principal for athletics is Mr. John Snyder, and the dean of students is Mr. Anderson Brungard. The dean of students plays an important role when it comes to attendance. My name is Joe Poole, and I'm one of the high school counselors. I'm responsible for those students whose last names start with the letters LE through R. I have three other colleagues in the counseling department. Mrs. Lauren Morowski, who has students with last names that start A through E. Mr. Dan Kalo, who has students whose last names start with F through LA. And Mrs. Michelle Reed, who has students whose last names start with S through Z. We will work with your son or daughter throughout their 4 years at Anthony Wayne and are their main point of contact when it comes to registration and scheduling. Why are we here? We are here to learn the process for scheduling ninth grade classes, to discuss what it takes to earn a diploma, and to find out about class offerings for your child's ninth grade year. We'll be meeting with students individually out of social studies classes on March 13th and 14th to go over their course selections one-on-one. On February 26th, we have or will have done a similar presentation with the 8th graders during the school day, and we encourage students to discuss the presentation with you, talk with their teachers, attend open house on March 6th, and again, talk with you, their parents, about their course selections for next school year and throughout their 4 years of high school. Based on current Ohio law, a student must accomplish 3 things to earn a diploma. This is very different compared to when you were in high school. A student must 1. Cover the basics, 2. Show competency, and 3. Show readiness. Let's go over those one by one. First, covering the basics is what everyone has always had to do. Earn the required credits. They must be the right credits as listed here. One change that has occurred beginning with the class of 2026 is they must earn a half credit of financial literacy. If you have older students that had to take 1 credit of practical art for their diploma, with this new requirement, we are taking half a credit of the practical art requirement for the financial literacy. This class will be a class students take either their junior or senior year. We pointed out to the students that world language credits are not required to earn a diploma, but most colleges expect to see a student have 2 to 3 years of a world language. World language classes count as elective credits. Showing competency is the testing component, and students must earn a minimum of 684 on both Algebra 1 and the English Language Arts 2 end of course exams. Though 684 is not exceptionally high, and well over 90% of students earn that on their first attempt, and students will have the ability to retake the test if they do not earn a 684, there are alternatives to show competency. Option 1 generally will be an option for students who attend Penna Career Center, though we are working on ways that the career-focused activities that are required for this option can be accomplished at the high school. Students who officially sign up with the military will automatically meet competency. Finally, if a student takes a College Credit Plus course in the area of math or English, may show competency, but we do not expect this to be a realistic option if students are already struggling with algebra and English end of course exams. Finally, a student must show readiness by earning 2 diploma seals. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on seals. We have another 15-minute presentation explaining seals, but seals were designed either by the state or locally to show readiness. Needless to say, most students will earn the Science and Citizenship Seal through Ohio State tests in biology, U.S. history, and U.S. government. The grading scale at the high school is the same as the junior high, though a student will earn their credit if they achieve a grade of D or higher. We encourage students to do their best in all of their classes because they do not want to dig themselves into a whole ninth grade year that they spend the next 2 years trying to get out of. I said 2 years because we explained to the students that 80 to 90% of our students go on to some form of further education after high school, and they are applying to colleges in the fall of their senior year with a transcript showing grades through the end of their junior year. To play athletics, a student must be eligible. Fall sports will be determined by fourth quarter, 8th grade grades. A student from the junior high must be passing 85% of their courses and have a 1.5 GPA for the quarter. Once a student is at the high school, eligibility is determined each quarter based on their prior quarter grades. A student must have a 1.5 GPA and be passing 5 full credit classes for the quarter. Physical education is not considered a full credit course since a student only earns a quarter credit for a semester instead of the typical half credit. College eligibility is a little different, and if a student thinks they may play NCAA Division I or II athletics, they may wish to start investigating what is required and have a conversation with their school counselor. As a student enters high school, parents may start wondering about the College Credit Plus program, where students can take college classes and earn high school and college credit. We do not typically see many ninth graders taking CCP. Our hope is that students get comfortable first with being a high school student before jumping into college classes. Generally, this has been a program that has been most utilized by seniors and juniors. There are some CCP classes that are taught in the high school, but again, those generally have been classes for juniors and seniors. Information went out earlier about CCP and the virtual counseling meeting that you can watch to get more information. This is found in your student's Class of 2029 Google Classroom. Please be aware that the virtual counseling meeting and the intent to participate form is a yearly requirement from the state. The meeting and the form must be completed in the spring before the school year a student wishes to participate. Just because you have watched the video and turned in the form once does not mean a student continues to be eligible. It must be done each and every year. So what does a typical ninth grader take? All ninth graders will take English, math, science, social studies, health, and most will take physical education. We encourage all students to take a study hall. Even if a student takes a study hall each year, they still could possibly wind up with way more than the 21 credits needed to graduate, since we are basically on an 8-class period day. Most students will have 3 periods to fill. Again, we encourage students to make one of those a study hall. Many students already know they will take band or choir, and that could take up one of those periods all year. Many students are planning on a world language, and that will take up a period all year. We also see students take a fine art, a practical art, or a computer class, and we will discuss those in more detail later. All students will take English next year. It is highly recommended that students in English 8 wishing to go into Honors English have straight A's, and those students in Honors Language Art 8, it is highly recommended that they have B's or better. There is a small group of students who are currently in Honors English Language Arts 1 at the high school, and their logical next step would be to take Honors English Language Arts 2. If a student is in Math 8 currently, they will be taking Algebra 1 next year. Students wishing to go into Honors Algebra 1 should primarily have A's in math and should talk with their math teacher. Students can choose honors, but past Ohio State test and STAR test will ultimately determine eligibility to take Honors Algebra 1. There are a number of students taking Honors Algebra right now at the junior high. If they are getting A's and B's, then they can go into Honors Geometry. Students in Honors Algebra 8 who are struggling could take regular geometry or may retake Algebra 1 so that they have a solid Algebra 1 foundation for future math classes. There is a small number of students who are in Honors Geometry currently, and their next class would be Honors Algebra 2. If a student is struggling in math, there is an intervention math class that is paired with Algebra 1. Students' grades and test scores will be used to determine eligibility, and we will then reach out to the family about adding intervention math to a student's schedule instead of a different elective. The benefit to this is that a student may be able to get 2 of their math credits by the end of their freshman year and hopefully have a foundation to do well moving forward. Most students will take biology. Again, the general rule is if a student is in honors and wants to continue in honors, it is highly recommended they should have A's and B's. If they are in regular and want to move up, it is highly recommended that they have all A's. There's a small subset of students taking honors biology right now. They will need to choose a science class on their sheet. Their options are honors physical science, but only if they are currently in honors algebra. The prerequisite is being through Algebra 1. Students currently in honors geometry could take honors chemistry, as being in honors algebra 2 is a co-requisite for this course. Honors anatomy physiology is an option for these students also. Please be aware that to earn a diploma, a student needs 1 biological science class, biology or anatomy, 1 physical science, such as physical science, chemistry, or physics, and 1 advanced science, which at Anthony Wayne is a student's 3rd science after fulfilling the biological and physical requirement. Everyone will take world history next year. Students need to choose between regular or honors. Again, it is highly recommended a student is getting A's and B's in honors social studies to move into honors world history, or getting all A's in regular social studies 8 to move into honors world history. Everyone will take health next year. Most students will take Principles of Modern Physical Education also. Students that participate in 2 seasons of interscholastic athletics and or marching band can qualify for a PE waiver. If a student's intention is to use a PE waiver, they must choose an extra elective. Just because a student is an athlete doesn't mean they have to use the PE waiver. Many of our athletes enjoy taking physical education, and they do not have to go the PE waiver route. This leaves us with 3 year-long periods to fill of 6 spots, 7 with a PE waiver. We would highly encourage students to take a study hall, and they can put 1 period of study hall in for each semester. Again, most students wind up with way more than 21 credits, and there is not a need for students to forego study hall. We would rather students take a study hall and make a successful transition to high school than to overload their schedule. Before we get started talking about classes, I would like to direct you to the Anthony Wayne Curriculum Guide website. Students can access this through their Google Classroom, but I have listed the direct links. On this website, you will find more information about classes and academic policies. Let's go there now. I would recommend looking at the curriculum guide on a full-size screen. It is difficult to view the curriculum guide on a phone. On the left-hand side, you will find the index of topics, which includes a variety of information. In some cases, you may not see the index, but instead, you will see 3 bars to the left of the AW in the top left corner. If you click on the 3 bars, the index will then display. Today, we are going to focus on the course description section. The first thing I want to look at in the course descriptions is at the top, the Pathway to Graduation Course Selection Guide. In this guide, the courses for each department are presented in a flowchart format, with each course leading to the next in the progression. In some cases, there are multiple pathways to advance to a course. For example, in the art department, one typically needs a foundational art, such as Art Foundation, CCP Intro to Art, or AP Art History, before taking further elective courses, which we can contrast with the business department on the next page, where the classes may all be in a line. But that does not mean you need to take one before the other. On this page, only Accounting 2 and DECA have a prerequisite. Let's go to the first department, Agribusiness, Agriscience, and Natural Resources, and see how a department is set up. There will be a list of courses which you can click on at the top to jump to, or you can scroll down like I am doing. Generally, there is a department overview, and then we go into classes. Many departments and classes have videos like the AF&R 1 class here on my screen. You will also see some basic information about the course. Is it a full year or a semester? What type of credit it earns? The grades that can sign up for the class, if there are any pre or co-requisites. Next will be which portrait of a general competency the class most identifies with, and the career house the course would be considered in. Then, a description of the course. In this department, 9th graders can take either AF&R 1 or 2, and these are full-year courses earning a student a practical art. Next is the art department. There are 3 courses 9th graders can take. Art Foundations is a 1-semester fine art course. If a student wants to take an additional art class, then they could also sign up for 2D or 3D design, but they must also sign up for Art Foundations since it is the prerequisite for these 2 art classes. The business department only has 1 class that a 9th grader can sign up for, and that is the 1-semester Intro to Business. This would be considered a practical art. There are 2 classes a student can take in the computer tech department. Both are 1 semester and count as a student's computer class for graduation. If a student would take both classes, the second course would fulfill the practical art requirement. The classes are Computer Tech and Intro to Computer Science. There are a couple of electives found under the English department that are not English classes. 9th graders could take Drama 1 for a semester of fine art, or Speech for a half credit of practical art. In the Family and Consumer Science department, you may find classes that are listed as 9th grade options. Unfortunately, due to staffing, we have not allowed 9th graders to sign up for a Family and Consumer Science course since we frequently are dropping 10th graders from these classes. If your son or daughter is currently a member of FCCLA and plans to continue in FCCLA, they should talk with their counselor since being in a Family Consumer Science class is a requirement for membership. We can make this happen in those circumstances. There are a multitude of options in the Industrial Technology department. These are all practical arts, and some of these are year-long and some are semester-long classes. Options range from courses in engineering to architecture or construction. Again, pay attention whether a class is a semester or a year long and fill out the course selection form accurately. The music department has a variety of options for students from choir to band and also history of rock and roll and music technology. For band, Mr. Young and Mr. Ladd will determine which band a student is in later, so a student only needs to write down band. With choir, students can take choir for a semester or for a full year. Generally, 9th grade boys will take tenor bass choir, and 9th grade girls will take treble choir. Finally, we have world language. We offer students French or Spanish. If your son or daughter is currently in the first year of French or Spanish, they can go on to the second year. If they have not taken Spanish or French yet, it is highly recommended that they are getting a C or better in their English language arts class. World language is not a requirement for graduation, but most four-year colleges do want to see a student have 2 to 3 years of a world language. So that is our quick overview of the curriculum guide and the elective options that your student has for their 9th grade year. Let me switch back over to the slides for our final slide. Which reminds you of the 9th grade open house on March 6th from 6:30 to 8 o'clock. This is a great opportunity to see the high school and find out about classes and clubs and activities in the high school. There will be teachers, all the high school administrators, and counselors there if you would have further questions. We hope you will join us on Thursday, March 6th. Thank you for watching this presentation, and we look forward to working with you, your son or daughter, over the next 4 years.